In 1603, the Tudor dynasty ended, and the throne of England passed to James VI of Scotland, now James I of England. It should have been a time of unity. After all, for the first time, Scotland and England shared a single monarch. But beneath the surface, tensions brewed. James believed he ruled by divine right, above Parliament, above the people, answering only to God. His son, Charles I, would take this belief to a fatal extreme. When Charles became king in 1625, he inherited his father's stubbornness, but lacked his political cunning. He clashed with Parliament over money and religion, believing his royal authority was absolute. When Parliament refused to fund his extravagant wars, Charles dissolved it altogether, ruling alone for 11 years. But absolute rule required absolute obedience. And when Charles attempted to force Anglican worship upon Scotland, he ignited a rebellion. Out of desperation, he recalled Parliament in 1640, but they were no longer willing to be dismissed at his command. Parliament, led by the fiery Oliver Cromwell, demanded reforms. Charles refused. In 1642, he stormed into the House of Commons with soldiers, intending to arrest his enemies. But they had already fled. The king had declared war on his own people. The country split in two. On one side, Royalists, known as Cavaliers, nobles, landowners, and those loyal to the crown. On the other side, Parliamentarians, known as Roundheads, Puritans, merchants, and those who saw the king as a tyrant. For years, England was drenched in blood. Families were divided. Towns were burned. The king's forces fought with gallantry, but Cromwell's new model army fought with ruthless discipline and divine purpose. At Naseby in 1645, the Royalists were crushed. Charles was captured. Yet even in chains, he refused to compromise. He escaped, rallying forces for a second war, but was captured again. In 1649, Charles was put on trial for treason, the first English king to ever face such a fate. His own subjects would decide if he should live or die. He stood before them, regal but defiant, refusing to recognize the court's authority. The verdict was already decided: guilty. On January 30th, 1649, on a bitter winter's day, Charles I stepped onto a scaffold outside Whitehall Palace. A vast, silent crowd watched. He addressed them, claiming he was dying a martyr of the people. Then he laid his head on the block. The executioner raised his axe. One clean stroke. The king was dead. A gasp, then silence. The monarchy was abolished. For the next 11 years, England became a republic, ruled by Oliver Cromwell, Lord Protector. But there was no peace. His Puritan rule was joyless, strict, and suffocating. Theaters closed, Christmas celebrations banned, music silenced. The people had traded a tyrant for a dictator. When Cromwell died in 1658, his son Richard could not hold power. The country, exhausted, longed for a king. In 1660, the monarchy was restored. Charles II, son of the executed king, returned to claim his father's throne. The streets of London erupted in celebration. The monarchy was back, but forever changed. No Stuart king would ever rule absolutely again. The Civil War had ended, but its scars remained. A nation divided, a king murdered, and the lesson that no ruler, no matter how divine they believe themselves to be, is above the people.